Peace and welcome to Oddly Familiar, a show where we delve into discussions about inspiration, plagiarism, and samples. First and foremost, I'd like to give a shout out to Good Vibe Collecting and Sloperij Janssen. The three of us combined our efforts to bring you the following submissions, and we've managed to trace down the source of the actual sample. So let's talk about the sample itself. Based on our findings, it appears to originate in 1988, specifically from Roland SRB 507, Disc 3, under the title Japanese Percussion No. 1, with the sample named DEY03. Some might find it to be a bit fast or high-pitched, and that's because Roland sampled it again, and this time slowed down to around 79.5%, resulting in a sound like this. This sound is popular in Kabuki, not necessarily this exact sample, but you can frequently encounter the basic sound in Kabuki performances. Kabuki is a form of Japanese theater where actors take the stage to perform, and you might recognize one common style of costume. With all of that being said, let's get this underway. The first game where we found the sample might surprise you. The oldest game featuring it so far is the Simpsons arcade game, during the Kabuki boss fight.
How's my hair?
Released exclusively in arcades on March 4th of 1991. In 2021, Arcade 1UP launched an arcade cabinet for home use, and I can confirm the presence of the sample. Two other versions, released in 2012 on Xbox Live Arcade and the PlayStation Network, have since been taken down. Both were removed on December 20th, 2013. However, they did include the sample. The Simpsons arcade game was composed by Norio Hanzawa, who, according to Moby Games, boasts 33 credits across 26 games. Up next is a track from TMNT Hyperstone Heist, specifically from outside Shredder's hideout. Released on December 11th of 1992 with arrangement and composition by Masahiro Ikariko. According to MobyGames.com, he was credited on 23 different games, notably including Snatcher and Police Knots. The sample in this track is cut short. It's just a quick yo. Of course, considering the entire game fits into a 1 megabyte file, we can't expect too much in terms of audio quality. Our next one is a double whammy. We have two themes from Ganbare Goemon 2. First up is the main menu selection sound effect. And second is the area clear theme. Released on December 22nd of 1993 on the Super Nintendo. The first entry is only heard when you make your selection on the main menu, so as soon as you enter the next menu, the sound selection will change. The second entry is when you complete an area, not a stage. The next entry is possibly the first time it ever appeared in the Samurai Shodown series. From the SNES game, the Tokyo Kabuki Theater theme. Samurai Showdown was first released in arcades in 1993. However, the SNES version didn't see the light of day until September of 1994. Found on the stage of Kyoshiro, he's a Kabuki performer, so the sound effect fits right in. Up next is the brand logo theme for Saikyo. The first game by Saikyo that I can confirm they used it in is Gunbird, and it can be found on the PS1 as well as the Sega Saturn. I did find it in a few games, but it seems Saikyo only used this intro for a few years, all of them coming from the PS1 or the Sega Saturn, and they used a different splash screen in the arcade. Our next discoveries originate from Samurai Shodown 4, Amakusa's Revenge, all from the arcade version. First in line is the opening theme. Followed by the map screen theme titled Shimabara. Then we have the stage of Haomaru, the scene of carnage. Last is the stage of Charlotte, successively foreign girl. Released in October of 1996, this soundtrack has it at least 4 times. And that takes us to our next entry, the home console version of Samurai Shodown 4, Amakusa's Revenge. These all come from the PS1 and the Sega Saturn. They are slightly different than the arcade, and there's a theme that now includes the sample that didn't before. First, we have the title screen theme. Then we have the map screen theme that sounds quite similar to the arcade version, but again, there are slight differences. And the last of these is one that is present in the home console ports and not the arcade. It's the continue theme titled Call for an Encore. Released in October of 1997, 1 year later than the arcade game. I believe this is where Samurai Shodown truly began to embrace the sample. It's featured in the arcade version 4 times and the home consoles 3 times. This could be the beginning of why most people associate this sample with the franchise. Up next is the 1998 PS1 game Bushido Blade 2. Here is Gloom My Fighting, background music number 3. The sample is a little bit quiet in this one. It repeats a few times throughout the theme, but it's first heard within the first 2 seconds. Arranged and composed by Ryuji Sasai. His resume starts in 1982, and it includes some anime and some games. Personally, I really like the Bushido Blade 2 soundtrack. It combines modern and traditional instruments and techniques. The next one we have is a double whammy. From Power Stone, the first of the 2 is Ayame's Ending. And the second one is the stage of Mutsu. Much easier to hear in the Mutsu theme, as Ayame's version has a lower volume to the sample. Released on February 13th in 1999 on the Sega Dreamcast. And I do gotta add, if you haven't played this series of games, you're missing out. They are extremely fun. Arranged and composed by Tetsuya Shibata. He has many Capcom games on his resume, so there's a good chance you have heard some of his tunes. Our next up comes from Pokemon Stadium, the minigame intro for Sushi Go Round. Released on April 30th, 1999, 2 months after our previous entry Power Stone, and 2 months before our next entry, which we'll have to stick around for. 1999 was the busiest year of the sample that we have found, with 3 games using it. Next up is the last entry from 1999, and it's Gekio Shooting King, Comical Mode. Gekio Shooting King is a port of the original Shenryu. The arcade and Sega Saturn games were released in 1997, but they don't contain the sample. The sample can be found in the all-nude comical mode, which is one of many new modes that were added as a PS1 exclusive. Up next is from Mega Man Legends 2, Manda Mayor's Quiz. Released on April 20th, 2000, this theme stands out as my favorite on the list today. It was both arranged and composed by Makoto Tomozawa. Tomozawa is known for his contributions to the Mega Man franchise, with his name appearing in the credits of at least 17 different Mega Man soundtracks. Additionally, his work extends to other well-known titles such as Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, Street Fighter, and Dragon Ball Z. Up next may not be the most popular one on the list because it's kind of hidden. Here's the Nintendo GameCube alternate startup sound. To hear this alternate sound, you must have 4 controllers plugged into the console and hold Z on all 4 during the startup process. Only then will your ears be blessed with the good old Yo sample. Up next is from Kabuki Warriors, the theme of Ukon. In a last-minute find, we found another usage in Kabuki Warriors. This one comes from the victory celebration of Shiroko. This was a rather easy one to find. One of the first keywords we used to find the sample was Kabuki. As we stated earlier, this is a popular Kabuki sound. So basically, we listened to everything video game related that had the word in it. Released on November 20th, 2001 for the original Xbox. The soundtrack was arranged and composed by Takayuki Nakamura. His resume might just be the most impressive in today's episode. You can find anything from Michael Jackson's Moonwalker to Virtua Fighter 1, 2, and 3. Next up is the title theme Bushido from Samurai Shodown 5 Special. This game was released on April 22nd, 2004 in arcades. It marks the 9th installment in the Samurai Shodown franchise, and at least the 4th to incorporate the sampled sound. In my opinion, Samurai Shodown 5 Special stands out as one of the best games in the series. It's one of my favorite Samurai Shodown games. Yes, another Samurai Shodown entry. This one comes from Samurai Shodown 6, the player select theme titled Warriors. Released on September 14th, 2005 in arcades, this is the 10th iteration in the series. A later release is available on the PS2 as a part of the Samurai Shodown anthology. It contains games 1 through 6, albeit excluding any special or perfect editions. In an interesting turn of events, a homebrew port for the Sega Dreamcast was released in 2020. Next up is from AVGN 2. We have a double whammy. First up is one titled Hang Dong 97. And the second one is titled Raw Fish Rampage. Released on March 29th, 2016, I believe this sample was used more for its irony or to evoke thoughts of other retro games that feature it. The composition and arrangement were handled by Sam Beddoes, who essentially took on every aspect of the production. But don't just take my word for it, this is exactly what it says in the credits. Needless to say, someone was quite busy with this project. The final edition for today is our latest release on the list, the main menu theme of the Samurai Showdown Neo Geo collection. This isn't just a single game, it's a collection of original arcade versions of Samurai Shodown games. If you're looking to indulge in some Samurai Shodown action, this could possibly be the best way to do so. It cost me $12, which isn't too bad for 7 games. The sample can be heard on the main menu theme once the game is launched. In total, we identified the sample in use across 27 distinct themes featured in 18 different games. Several games incorporate it multiple times, with the Samurai Shodown series taking the lead. Notably, it was utilized more frequently in Samurai Shodown 4 than any other series combined. Last but never least, shout out to gold level patrons, Bearsona, Quantom X, MJJ, and Sloperij Janssen. I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.